Hello everyone and welcome back to a bit of a break from my fairly consistent schedule as of late. Real life, as always, gets in the way of the hobbies and passions that we do indeed have. And sadly, video games don't always take precedence over various things, but excuses aside, here is Weekly Spice, episode number 3, 4, something like that. I'm not even bothering to put like episode numbers on these videos because they're just going to be a pretty casual weekly thing. But regardless, as you might be able to tell from the gameplay in the background, this is Killing Floor 2. Now, Killing Floor 2 I have once again covered in the past fairly extensively. I used to do just like consistent news shows on it in a way. Whenever something was updated, whenever something was sort of leaked by the developers on the community forums over on Tripwire Interactive's Killing Floor 2 forums specifically, and their announcement page, you know, etc, etc. I used to cover this game quite extensively. I don't anymore, mostly because I do indeed play other games, so, you know, it's kind of hard to follow a game that you don't particularly invest much time into anymore, as it really would require you to kind of dedicate part of your time to focusing on that game in addition to other games. But regardless, this is a super cool game and I did absolutely love Killing Floor 1. Part of the reason why I spent a bit of time covering Killing Floor 2 a while back on this channel. And yeah, if you're looking for a player versus, essentially a player versus environment horde mode focused game, then Killing Floor 2 is a pretty perfect game to do that within. Essentially, it's you with your team. If you gather a bunch of friends, it's a fantastic time. You know, you can just choose your map, choose your settings, blah blah blah, and then you fight wave by wave against swarms of these Zeds, and the Zeds come in varieties that are both strange and alarming in various degrees, and as you go through the waves, naturally it gets harder, and at the end of your run there is a boss. If you defeat that, you win the run. Fantastic. And there's also some cosmetic items, if you're not familiar with the game. I do believe I did actually pre-order Killing Floor 2 since I had such a fantastic time with the first game, and so I believe I got the Horzine Mark 7 helmet and suit free, as well as these handguns. Maybe the baseball caps? I honestly don't know. But regardless, it's developed really nicely, and one of the ways in which it has developed is in fact through this weekly mutation system. So mutations are basically modifiers. If you've played any previous, like old school FPS style game, you're probably quite familiar with the term modifier, as these were like really crazy applications that you could choose to turn on or off on your playthrough, either in multiplayer or single player, and it would have some crazy effect. So I actually distinctly remember playing like some old Ratchet and Clank game way back in the past, the murky fog of my youth, where you could choose to enable a whole bunch of modifiers. There was like a massive cartoon head one. Obviously it's a cartoon game, but you know, there was that, and obviously Halo, pretty big series. They have the skulls system where you can enable a skull and it has a particular effect, most of them increasing difficulty in some manner. And yeah, basically these modifiers just modify your play experience. And Tripwire have decided to implement a weekly rotational modifier system, which kind of customizes gameplay in some fairly significant manner, which is super cool. I do believe the modifier last week was headshots only. If you played a game with this game mode enabled, you could only kill Zeds through headshots, which is, you know, really cool, because it kind of draws on the idea of, you know, Zeds being zombies only dying from shots to the brain, etc, etc. That's a really cool idea, and Tiny Terror is this week's weekly modifier. And this one, each time you do damage in any form to a Zed, they actually shrink in size. And this actually makes it really hard sometimes, because in shrinking in size, they don't actually lose any stats, so they're just as tanky, even though they don't look as tanky. So yeah, basically they just become, as the description says, just super hard to hit, which is pretty awesome. It's just something really fun. And in a player versus environment horde-based game, such as Killing Floor 2, having some kind of new factor rotated in every so often definitely does add to the excitement level within the game, because essentially what you're doing is the same thing in and out. You're diving into a game, murdering hundreds of Zeds, hopefully not getting murdered yourself, and completing your run, and then, you know, rinse, repeat, refresh, all that good stuff. So, first off, I love this weekly kind of modifier system. It's awesome, it's fun, it's, you know, why not have it? It just makes the game more interesting. It kind of adds a long-term aspect as well, because you want to play each of the modifiers as they come out, because chances are each of them are going to be pretty damn fun. So yeah, this system is amazing. I cannot criticize it. It's awesome. I haven't seen all the modifiers. I don't know how long it's been in the game, but for certain this is only improving the game in terms of variety, in terms of long-term kind of sticking with the game, and in terms of player count, the game was on like 6,000, 7,000 last time I checked, so it's not doing bad at all. So yeah, fantastic. That's a great system. And the other thing that is definitely worth mentioning is the Summer Sideshow, which is the current seasonal event, which if you played Killing Floor 1, you will probably not be too surprised by the fact that this exists. Essentially, in Killing Floor 1, Tripwire would pick a map that would kind of represent a time of year, like Christmas, or, you know, just the winter holidays, or summer, or, you know, anything along those lines, and then they would make an event around it. And this is the summer event for Killing Floor 2, and is it the first event of this type that they've done? I think it might be, question mark. Don't take my word as gospel on that. As mentioned, I haven't been following the game religiously as of recently, but still, this is sort of them doing things as they used to do back in Killing Floor 1, and it's a super fun thing to do. In addition to the, you know, the continuous weekly outbreak system, which is just a nice bit of variety, you also get things to look forward to every seasonal kind of holiday, which is just really cool. It's really fun. And I will be showing off the exclusive map to this game, to this, not this game mode, to this game thing? You know what? Let's not think too hard about that. So, weekly Tragic Kingdom, yeah, this works. And I'm playing as SWAT. So, also, one thing I did not mention, in this game, there's a perk system, and there's a whole bunch of cool perks to choose from. If we go into perks, you've got Berserker, who is, you know, a melee-focused class. They're quite tanky and do a lot of damage, which is super cool. They can run really fast, etc., etc. Commando, who's assault rifles. Support, who's shotguns, and kind of massive inventory sizes, so they can equip a lot of weapons eventually once you get them leveled up. Field Medic, as you'd expect, is a medic. Demolitionist, who has explosives. Firebug, who has flamethrowers, and anything related to fiery death. Gunslinger, who is dual-wielding, cowboy style. Sharpshooter, who indeed is focusing on the headshots and the more accurate rifles. Survivalist, who's quite interesting. I haven't played with him, but from what I understand, you can essentially customize how he plays very heavily. He can take bits from each of the other perks, and like, you can basically customize your own perk with this one, which is really cool. And SWAT, who is SMGs and sort of just, yeah, SMGs and general survival, which again is currently my favorite. And as you can see, I don't play this game as much as the consistent player base does, but I've definitely had lots of fun with it in the past. And with that said, let us dive straight into this match. Okay, so this is the new map, the Tragic Kingdom. As you can see, the theme, as one might expect, given the name of the event going on, is circus kind of stuff. Ooh, that was beautiful. Damn, I thought I was going to be rusty, but that was beautiful. Unfortunately, it did not showcase off the actual modifier happening this week. And here we go. Here's the modifier. Let's make everyone really small. Oh god, they're glowing. What does that even mean? I don't even know. So here you can see, this is the modifier in action. Normally, as you would not be surprised to hear, Zeds do not shrink to that size. That does not happen. And I am getting mauled. Oh boy. Let's throw down a safety grenade. And it did not go off. Do I have any grenades? Okay, this is when we panic. This is when we panic. As you can see, Gorefests, when they're that size, and their scarier twin-bladed cousins, they are very terrifying. They run really fast, do a lot of damage, and they're quite easy to ignore once they've shrunken down to, you know, minuscule size. So here we go. Doing a lot of damage, a lot of good stuff. Let's just get some headshots in. Beautiful. One down. Is this the last one? Two down. And almost the round?
Perfect.
That was the round. Okay.
Let's get you restocked. Bring up the trading controls and upgrade your gear.
Okay, so that was the first round, and let's, now that we've cleared the place out of Zeds, let's have a look at it. So essentially, the minigame system that I believe I mentioned, did I mention? Essentially, in this map, there are a bunch of minigames that you can find, a bunch of interactable objects, so if you activate that, the cage goes down, you can trap a bunch of Zeds, or you can trap yourself in, which isn't a bad strat. I don't think. If you had an entire team, and also...
Time's almost up. Vite.
Hey, here we go. So this is one of the minigames. You activate the generator to activate all these minigames, and this enables all these minigames to trigger.
More Zeds inbound.
And I have actually completed this one before, but this is a good example. Okay, I've run out of money. This is a terrible thing. Fortunately, killing Zeds does generate money, so I can continue to play this. If briefly. But yeah, there's a ton of minigames within this map for you to find. Part of the fun is finding the minigames. Of course, you can just go online and ask the forums where indeed are the minigames and how do I complete them. But you know what? I don't see why you'd do that. I think you should just go into a solo game if you want, or an online game with your friends, and just figure out the map. I mean, it's so fun. There's lots of like interactable things to do. You can activate a kind of a broken down roller coaster which smashes into the wall, and if there are any Zeds there, they get crushed. And I'm out of ammo already. Fortunately, with the swap perk, there is an option quite early on to get a... Oh god, we've backed ourselves into a corner. There is an option to upgrade your knife and pistol, your starting pistol, so this is definitely pretty cool. Essentially, when I'm out of ammo for my main SMGs, I can be still quite potent in combat, but regardless, once again, as you can see here, it's a circus. You've got this kind of... What are these even called? I'm pretty sure merry-go-round is not the right terminology, and wow, tiny crawlers are terrifying. If you have any sense of arachnophobia, this is probably not the game mode for you, or even the game. Let's put the flashlights on. And here we go. Oh, isn't he cute? Isn't he cute? Can we shoot him one more? No, we can't. Okay. So, obviously, the more times you shoot something, the closer it is to being dead. That's a pretty hard and fast rule in life, I think. But particularly in this game mode, they can only go so small before they die. I've tried to kind of just knife them. But yeah, they still die, so that's probably like a limitation on the thing. Although, maybe... I mean, I guess technically, it would become impossible to kill something once it got so small, because you wouldn't be able to hit it with anything except like explosives or flamethrowers or something. Yeah, so he's actually not getting any smaller. I'm shooting him repeatedly and he's not getting any smaller. Him being a bloat, he can take a lot of hits to the belly and not go down. So whilst the bloat is pretty chill there, let's go take a gander around the map, shall we? Generator still on, let's turn that on. Oh, cute. So yeah, from what I know so far, you can lower that cage, so I'm just going to test it. Actually no, I think it actually uses up the generator's charge if you activate anything, so let's not do that. So you can lower that cage, As shown earlier, you can play this game. So you throw money into this bucket, hopefully getting it in, and then activates, and then you can basically throw the money in all of the buckets. Once all of the buckets have money inside, you complete that challenge. So that's essentially what happens with all of the challenges. The only problem is you've got to find them and figure out how to complete them. As mentioned, I'm quite determined not to resort to just looking at the internet for the answers. I'm just going to take it chill with this one. But regardless, yeah, this is essentially what the map is. There's a bunch of minigames. As you can see here, there's a big green button that you can hit once you've activated the generator. And it gives some kind of a clue, so you can drop the cages to do something. What that means, I'm not sure. Do you need like a Z here to drop the cage on? Does that... And then do you like push this button and... Ah, okay, so I think we've just figured this one out. So we drop the cage on a Z. We can actually do it now. If we can get the bloat onto this. No, no, stay. Okay, yeah, stay. I'm literally just gonna let him vomit on me. That seems like a good idea. Not something I would say often. Is he? Oh. Is it going down? It actually isn't going down. God damn it.
Enemy almost neutralized.
Ah, no, okay, yeah. So this would definitely work better if you had a lot of Zeds around the place. But clearly what you're meant to be doing. Trap a Zed in there. Flamethrower the hell out of them. And yeah, that would probably unlock one of the challenges. In addition to that kind of money game that I just showed. So yeah, this is a really cool map. It's really fun. Very colourful. Once you've activated a generator, things tend to light up a bit. As you can see, you've got like several different zones within the map. You've got like the, I guess the indoor circus bit, something like that, I would call it. There's also the outside kind of merry-go-round place, which I did show. There is also the Tunnel of Love at some point. Ooh, the Tragic Kingdom. Okay. So that's the name of the map. There is also the Tunnel of Love, which I will try and find very quickly for you guys. In case you haven't seen it, of course. And this is most certainly the most twisted, freakish carnival I have ever seen. So, Tunnel of Love. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so what's it called? What's it actually called? The what? The something Tunnel of Love. I don't even know what that says. The Sirens. Oh, we got okay. The Sirens. The Sirens Tunnel of Love.
Nooks and crannies everywhere. A place like this.
Yeah, that is true. Nooks and crannies, indeed. So essentially, here you can see another one of the potential minigames. You push this button, something happens, then presumably Zeds die because of that. This, you know what this reminds me of, and this might trigger some people, but this reminds me a bit of COD Zombies. I haven't actually played that game mode, by the way, much at all, but whenever I'm around particular friends, we do tend to play it because it's really fun to do so. But in COD Zombies, there are typically a bunch of things, like interactable ways to kind of interact with the map. And yeah, this actually reminds me quite a bit of that. And the way you kind of progress through the map, kind of unlocking different passageways, etc, etc. There being a bunch of unlockables for you to do. Yeah, this actually reminds me quite a bit of that, and that is not a bad thing. COD Zombies being quite a well-developed game mode at this point, many years on from the original in World at War. So, yeah, this has been my episode of Weekly Spice covering Killing Floor 2. It's been fun, really, just to catch up with the game and see how it's doing. It's definitely doing really well. Lots of consistent updates, and my character is talking a lot. Lots of consistent updates. The idea of the weekly mutation system, as mentioned, I love that system. It's just really fun. Oh, generator's gone off.
Finish the damn thing off.
Yeah, so the weekly mutation system, that's awesome. It's gonna add kind of a freshness and a variety to the game that I think a lot of people will definitely enjoy. Oh, there's a thing. There we go, got him. Yeah, so weekly mutations, that's awesome, and this map is just really fun, lots of things to do. If you're in a multiplayer server, in a multiplayer match, unlike me at the moment, chances are you will be able to see other people who have already completed all the challenges go around and basically show how to complete the challenges. So if you don't want to go on the internet, probably just find a multiplayer server playing this game mode and on this particular map, and yeah, you'll probably be able to see what other people are doing with it. So yeah, this has been really fun. As always guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was somewhat interesting. I do love Killing Floor 2, fantastic game, fantastic developers, Tripwire Interactive. The original game was a source of much entertainment back in secondary school. Can you believe it was that long ago? But yeah, the original game was awesome, and this game is oh, that was a terrible throw. This game is definitely awesome as well. As you can see, I'm having a whale of a time. Zeds are dying, heads are popping, the gore flows, and I am definitely not going to survive this round, as I did not go to the trader. So thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time.